Welcome to a special edition of Alert View. Picture, if you will, a grand stage. The spotlight is on a magician who promises the audience a new era of transparency and integrity. He tells you he will make your problems vanish, that he will cleanse politics of all deceit. But as you applaud, a subtle movement happens in the shadows. The hand of his assistant, the second in command of the entire show, is caught deep inside the till. And now, all the lights are turning on her.
And this is no stage show, James. This is the grim reality of British politics in 2025. Tonight, we are talking about the scandal engulfing the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, who has admitted she failed to pay her taxes in full. But this story is not just about her. It is about the man who put her there, Sir Keir Starmer, the man who built his entire career on a promise of absolute, unimpeachable integrity.
Precisely. And to understand the sheer scale of this political car crash, we must rewind the clock. Let's listen to the words of Sir Keir Starmer himself, back when the former Director of Public Prosecutions sat on the opposition benches, casting moral judgment upon all. He said, in a voice filled with certainty, "Any politician who seeks to avoid their taxes is not fit to be in charge of taxpayers' money." Powerful words, are they not? Words that leave no room for interpretation.
And those weren't his only words, James. He dug deeper than that. He spoke of a pattern of behaviour, describing how politicians who ask the rest of us to pay more while they find ways to pay less are part of a rotten culture. And now, that pattern of behaviour he warned us about is no longer a theory. It is a living reality at the very heart of his own government, embodied by the second most senior person in his team.
And here comes the part that is simply beyond belief, the part that feels as if it were written in a satirical novel. When Starmer was asked directly what he would do if someone in his party misbehaved, he did not hesitate. He didn't say, "I will investigate," or "I will consider the situation." He said with a cold prosecutorial finality, "When somebody in my party misbehaves, I kick them out." That was his red line. That was the solemn vow he made to the nation.
And today, when the time came to honour that vow, when the entire nation was watching to see if his principles were anything more than empty words, what did he do? Did he raise the sword of justice he so often brandished? No. He came out and said he was proud of Angela Rayner. Proud. Let's just pause on that word. Proud of what, exactly? Proud that his own deputy has become a symbol of everything he claimed to fight against.
And today, when the time came to honour that vow, when the entire nation was watching to see if his principles were anything more than empty words, what did he do? Did he raise the sword of justice he so often brandished? No. He came out and said he was proud of Angela Rayner. Proud! Let's just pause on that word. Proud of what, exactly? Proud that his own deputy has become a symbol of everything he claimed to fight against.
Which brings us to the point of absolute hypocrisy. Do we all remember Dominic Cummings and his infamous trip to Barnard Castle to test his eyesight? Back then, Keir Starmer accepted no excuses about child welfare. His judgment was instant and severe. If I were Prime Minister, I would have sacked Cummings. There was no sympathy, no consideration of context, just the sharp, decisive acts of dismissal.
The very same man who savagely attacked Boris Johnson for not sacking Dominic Raab. He would thunder in Parliament about standards in public life, about accountability, about the buck stops here. Well, the buck has now arrived at his own doorstep, and it has Angela Rayner's name on it. And suddenly, the man of principle has vanished, replaced by a politician scrambling to do damage control.
Labour spent years in opposition as ruthless hunters. Any mistake from the Conservatives was evidence of endemic corruption. They didn't just want apologies, they demanded resignations, inquiries, and public humiliation. Angela Rayner herself was at the forefront of this attack, touring media studios to explain precisely why her opponents were unfit for office.
And now that the tables have turned, what is her excuse? She received incorrect legal advice. That has to be the laziest excuse in the political playbook. If that is the truth, the solution is simple. Publish the advice. Show us the document that led you astray. Who is this phantom lawyer who gave you such catastrophic counsel? Their silence is deafening, and it suggests there is something far deeper to this than a simple mistake.
And instead of transparency, what we got was a masterclass in stage-managed theatre. A soft, sympathetic interview with a friend at Sky News, where the focus was not on the facts, but on Angela Rayner's feelings. We were told she was emotional. Oh dear, is being upset about getting caught now a substitute for taking responsibility? It is an insult to the intelligence of the public.
It is political gaslighting of the highest order. They are trying to make us feel as though we are the cruel ones for demanding consistency and integrity. After years of setting fire to their opponents' feet, they now want us to pour cold water on the blaze engulfing them. They are asking for grace, for understanding, for compassion, the very things they steadfastly refused to grant anyone else.
This goes beyond mere hypocrisy, James. It reveals a dangerous mentality at the heart of the government. A do as I say, not as I do mindset, a belief that power grants you immunity from the standards you impose on ordinary citizens. Every single day, regular Britons are told to pay their taxes accurately and on time, under threat of severe penalties. By what right does the Deputy Prime Minister believe the rules do not apply to her?
And that is the most crucial question. If they are willing to obfuscate and dissemble on an issue as clear-cut as this, what else is happening behind closed doors? What other secrets are they hiding? This affair isn't just a blunder, it's a crack that reveals a flaw in the very foundations of this entire government, a foundation built on promises of integrity that now look utterly hollow.
They promise change, but what we are seeing is the same old game, just with slightly different players. They are counting on the public to forget, on a friendly media to change the subject. They are betting on our outrage being short-lived.
We cannot let that happen. Angela Rayner must resign, not just because she erred, but because she embodies the double standards her party promised to end. And if she does not have the integrity to step down, then Keir Starmer must prove his words meant something and sack her. His failure to do so would not just be a disappointment, it would be an absolute betrayal of the trust the electorate placed in him.
And the question we leave you tonight is deeper than just tax. Is the exposure of this pattern of behaviour at the very top of government just the tip of the iceberg? And does the Prime Minister's silence and support for his deputy suggest that there are more secrets they are terrified of being exposed if she falls?
We want to hear your theories and your analysis. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you believe in real journalism that isn't afraid to ask the tough questions, then subscribe to Alert View now and hit that notification bell. The fight for the truth has only just begun.